I am back from my campfire vacation with a new tinfoil hat theory. Put on your metal hat and let's dive deep. Here's how this one begins. While traveling across miles of interstate, I took to looking over the 1-year price chart of the AMP token by FlexaNetwork, and that is when something caught my eye. Relative to the performance of the overall market, FlexaNetwork's AMP token has underperformed, despite being one of the most integrated solutions and arguably the most above-board solution on the market. Let's take a look and try to understand why Tyler Spalding of FlexaNetwork has confidence in believing that the AMP token can reach $1, $10, or even $20 per token. That's right, the MIT literal rocket scientist who is decorated with more patents than this channel is decorated with free pizza offers, who is confidently speaking of reaching $20 per token, which, hold on one moment, I need to expand my AMP holdings. Welcome to Unusual Due Diligence. I am your host, Poseidon, God of the Sea, and in today's fresh episode, we take a look at the AMP token, specifically some price action, but also not. Here's how today's work begins. Today's episode, well, we're going to start with a leak. Well, not really a leak, and no, not the plant. But if you happen to go digging into some of the further recesses of the internet, you'll learn that a new governance proposal is in the works for the AMP token. Speaking of leaks, though, and that's LEEK, did you know that, quote, the leek is one of the national emblems of Wales, and it, or the daffodil, in Welsh the daffodil is known as Peter's leek, is worn on St. David's Day. Further, the 1985 and 1990 British £1 coins bear the design of a leek and a coronet representing Wales, end quote. Wales is interesting. You know why? And viewer, this is about to get pretty weird. Did you know that there is a Flexa registered in England and Wales with company registration number 121186990? Well, it goes like this. The website flexa.careers, the site is run and maintained by a Flexa Ltd, a company registered in England and Wales with that company registration number. What is this, and what's it have to do with FlexaNetwork? Well, in short, it's just a coincidence and possibly a dead end, or is it? Flexa.careers has a notable client brand identified as Bright Pearls. And what's interesting about Bright Pearls is that if you jump to their website, you'll find that they have an integration with a number of channels. One of those is Shopify. Now, I've covered the Shopify angle for FlexaNetwork and the AMP token before. However, looking over this list, it's a short list of the retail space that we all know FlexaNetwork is going after or having done trials with. For example, let's take a look at this list and ask the question, does FlexaNetwork have an integration with Magento? And the answer is, according to the integrations list, yes. Okay, why would Bright Pearl and FlexaNetwork entertain one another? What even is a Bright Pearl? Let's answer that first. Bright Pearl, quote, Bright Pearl is a cloud-based business management application that incorporates inventory, accounting, CRM, point of sale, and e-commerce, developed and run in Bristol, UK, with offices in San Francisco, end quote. So they do have a US-based presence. That is pretty interesting. But you know what else is interesting? Color. Color is interesting. For example, if you look at the FlexaNetwork logos, you see these colors. It's a nice arrangement of colors. Now, if you happen to put this screenshot from the Bright Pearl blog of, quote, how we'll spend, end quote, the similarities between the two are striking. Why did Bright Pearl author a report on, quote, how we will spend, end quote, and use a color scheme hinting at FlexaNetwork? Why is Tyler Spalding, CEO and chief dude at FlexaNetwork, convinced that the AMP token may rise to 10 or even $20 token when the 1-year performance has been underperforming the actual market? Tyler candles are no doubt part of that answer, and if you aren't familiar with the Tyler candle, check out my video explaining that phenomena. The clip originates from this interview, and you know, that's going on my bingo sheet for goals. I have no idea how an animated milkshake, popcorn, and God of the Sea could interview these movers and shakers in the crypto space, but maybe there's a way to do that I'm just not thinking of right now. If you're wondering if any of these movers and shakers of the crypto space are watching this channel, let me just note the comment on the screen from one of my prior videos. Returning back to the Tyler Spalding podcast, I encourage you to give it a listen. It is a great conversation, and Tyler mentions a paper at the Kansas City Federal Reserve that I need to dig into. Why? Because when the chief dude at FlexaNetwork mentions there's an obscure paper at the Federal Reserve that he encourages viewers to dig into, that is exactly the kind of thing this channel exists to serve you for. Why? Well, if you're new here, this is Unusual Due Diligence. I am your host, Poseidon, God of the Sea. In today's episode, we explored a small leak into the possibility of the AMP token at $1 or even $20. What does a $1 trillion market cap look like for the FlexaNetwork and AMP token? Tyler and his team are asking that question, And you know what? Maybe we should too. Make waves, my friend.